show. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy that you're all here. But when it comes to comfort food, in my opinion, shepherd's pie just seems to hit all the right notes, especially this time of year when it's a little cold outside. So today, I'm gonna make you my version of shepherd's pie, but with a little bit of a twist. And first up, that twist is this is not actually shepherd's pie because shepherd's pie has lamb in it, and this has beef in it, so that makes it cottage pie. But nobody knows what cottage pie is, so we're just gonna call it shepherd's pie. So the first thing I've done here is I've got an onion, couple carrots, and some celery that I've cooked off in some butter, added a little bit of garlic into there, and then browned off some ground beef. That's about a pound or 450 grams of ground beef, and I like to use lean. There's enough fat in there that it's gonna bring flavor, but it's also not too fatty that it's gonna get like soupy. You know what I mean? We don't want that. So I've cooked that off and that's looking great. Standard shepherd's pie so far. Here's where I might lose some of you. I'm gonna sneak in a couple of extra ingredients just to amp up the fiber and the nutrients in this dish. Because sometimes when you're feeding, whether it's yourself or your kids, you gotta trick them, you know? You gotta be sneaky about those vegetables. So I've got some in here, and if you do have really picky kids, you could feel free to grate that carrot in so it kind of melts in, or leave it big and chunky. But now I'm gonna add in a can of brown lentils. Are we in? I heard one yes. I'm happy about that. Listen, I love lentils. They don't have a ton of flavor, but they've got a ton of texture. And if you add these lentils on into this beef, once this comes together into a shepherd's pie mixture, you're not even gonna be able to tell. This is great. This is gonna increase the fiber in here. It's gonna give more nutrients, more vitamins, but it's also gonna cut the cost. Lentils are way cheaper than beef. So this is kind of beefed up or amped up the amount I've got in this filling, and I have only added a can of something you can keep in your pantry. If you're really looking to save some money, you can also just cook your lentils yourself. That costs like maybe 10 cents. This is about like $1.50, so pretty breezy. So that's looking great. Now, to kind of build that saucy kind of situation in the bottom of a shepherd's pie, I'm gonna add a couple tablespoons of flour onto that mixture. That's gonna help thicken up the liquid that I'm gonna add later and give you kind of that gravy-like consistency. So just toss that flour right on in and give that a little bit of a stir just to combine. Basically, you wanna coat things with that flour, but once we add that liquid, it's gonna kind of thicken everything up. So speaking of the liquid, I wanna amp up this flavor in a really quick way. So I'm gonna use a couple tablespoons of tomato paste. Now tomato paste, some robot or machine or something cooked down tomato until it tastes like I've worked really hard. But really all I did was open a can, which is a delight. So I'm gonna add 2 tablespoons of that on into my bowl. And this is a cooking recipe, so my 2 tablespoons today is more like a 1/4 cup, but you do you. That's how cooking goes in my house, I'm not gonna lie. Now into there, I'm also gonna add kind of a classic flavoring, and that is Worcester sauce or Worcestershire sauce or this stuff that you definitely have in your pantry from that one time you were maybe into Caesars, you know what I mean? Okay, so I'm gonna open that up and add about a tablespoon into that tomato paste. And then I'm gonna give that a little bit of a whisk just to bring that together. Now, this liquid mixture has a ton of flavor in it. We've got that tomato paste nice and cooked down. Worcester sauce is really, really flavorful. It's weird because it's actually made of like fermented anchovies, which I know, kind of shocking, but it gives this really nice kind of umami flavor into whatever it touches. All right, so that's looking great. Now into there, I'm gonna add in some broth. Now, if you wanted to, you could use beef broth. You could also use mushroom broth if you wanted to do more of a veg-friendly version and use kind of like meat replacement instead of meat. So I'm gonna add about 1.5 cups of that into that kind of tomato paste Worcester situation. Give that a whisk up. And already this smells amazing, because tomato paste kind of sort of smells like ketchup, and I love that. I know I'm a food professional, but I really like ketchup. It's delish. All right, so I'm gonna add this liquid right on into this pan. And like I said before, that flour is gonna thicken that liquid up and make it kind of into a gravy. This is just like classic comfort food. I know shepherd's pie isn't the like fanciest thing in the world, but it is delicious. And for me, especially on a weeknight, that's what matters. All right, that is looking good. It's gonna come up to a boil and thicken up. But here I've got my mash started. So a classic shepherd's pie usually topped with potatoes. So I've got some Yukon Gold potatoes in here, but I've also got a garlic clove that I boiled in that water too to give soft garlic flavor. And I was sneaky and I've cut that starch with some veg. I threw 1/2 head of cauliflower into here as well. And that's gonna give me a little bit more nutrients, some more vitamins, but it's not just gonna be like mashed cauliflower. I don't know if anybody remembers, there was a time when everyone tried to convince you that mashed cauliflower was delicious. It was very watery. I wasn't buying it. I would love a cauliflower soup, but not mashed cauliflower, and that's kind of what it turned into. So I'm just gonna give that a little bit of a rough mash. And then into there, I wanna bring this together. So I've got a 1/4 cup of milk and a few tablespoons of butter that I've melted together. So that's gonna go on into there. And then this is my secret ingredient anytime I'm making a mash, and that is about a 1/4 cup of cream cheese. That's gonna bring extra flavor, a little bit of brightness, which is absolutely delicious. Season that up with a little bit of salt. It's potatoes, so you can do a little bit more salt than you think. At least that's what I'm gonna do. And I'm just gonna mash this together until it's smooth and creamy and wonderful. Making my shepherd's pie for you, but with a little bit of a twist. And that twist is tricking yourselves and your family into eating more vegetables and fiber. So in this mixture, for that meat mixture for the shepherd's pie, I've got a little bit of lentils in there. I've also got veg, but those lentils beef it up, not literally, but metaphorically, give you more of that delicious filling for like a fraction of the cost, and it amps up that fiber. And in this mash mixture, we got that little bit of cauliflower in there that nobody will know about, because that just looks like mashed potatoes to me. All right, this is looking beautiful. As you can see, that sauce is kind of thickened up into a nice little gravy. It smells absolutely delicious. I'm very excited about that. Now into there, in my books, a shepherd's pie or a cottage pie or whatever you want to call it isn't complete without a little frozen veg. So I'm throwing in about a cup of frozen peas and corn. I like both. You can do either. You can also leave them out. Just do you. So I'm gonna toss those right on into this mix and give that a little bit of a stir. The residual heat of this sauce and the heat of the oven once this goes in is gonna cook those down. So you don't really have to worry about defrosting them or cooking them in this pan right now. Just get them mixed in. It also gives you a nice little bright pop in that mixture that we've cooked for a little bit, so it's always a nice touch. Now I'm gonna turn the heat off of there, and I'm gonna transfer all of this delicious mash right on top. So, this is my favorite part. I love taking potatoes out of a giant pot, because it just, this is a joy to me. Like, it's so joyful and wonderful. I would just sit down with this pot and eat all these potatoes. And again, there's cauliflower in there, so that's fine, you know? All right, so I'm just popping that all over the top. If you wanted to, you could do this in little individual ramekins. That'd be super cute. But we're just going big because less dishes is always a good thing. Now, one tip also, if you are making any sort of mashed potato situation, wash this immediately, or else it's never getting clean, because that just turns into cement, but that's okay. So I'm just gonna spread that potato mixture all over the top. If you don't get to the edges, that's totally fine. But I really love a little bit of cheese on top of my shepherd's pie. So I've got about a cup of grated cheddar cheese here. I'm just gonna scatter that all over the top. This is what makes it, I don't know, a shepherd's pie. It's got all the things that are good. There's protein. I got lentils in mine, potatoes, cheese, what a delight. All right, now I'm gonna transfer this into my oven, but I'm gonna pop it onto a baking sheet just in case there's any bubble over, because I don't want that. I don't wanna have to clean my oven. But this is gonna go into a 400-degree oven for about 20 to 25 minutes, just until it is nice and golden brown and bubbly. So that baby goes in. This is where you get your workout for the day. And then you end up with something that looks like this. Like, that looks so good. If you plop that down on your table, everyone is gonna be so happy. Now, like I said before, if you wanted to, you could substitute that beef with like a vegetarian ground beef product. You could also do 100% lentils if that's more your bag. But for this one, we went with that veg beef, because then I can eat it. So I'm gonna scoop some out. We've got that beautiful, crispy, delicious cheese topping. Spoon that baby out. In my opinion, yes, you can put it on a plate, but also eating this out of a bowl from your couch. What a delight. And like my friend Kyle says, a little bit of ketchup on there, never hurt anybody. And I'm gonna do that because I'm a disaster. This is just pure comfort food at its finest. Those lentils, those veg. Oh my gosh. That is just too good. Hey, Mary here. What did you think? Drop your comments below and don't forget to like and subscribe for more of the good stuff.